Hi, Pete Shevlin here with yet another CNLZ Live. 8 p.m. on a Friday, this is us. Joining me live tonight, we've got some amazing guests. It happens again every single time with the live feed on the phone, of course. We've got Kirby. She's an urban singer-songwriter. She's from Derby. She'll be joining us. And also, folksy blues duo. In fact, there's three of them tonight. It's Magpie22. And also, fingers crossed, Isabel will be joining us. She's just stepped off the Eurostar. She'll be telling us all about #France quarantine, just to see exactly what's going on over there. Any news for anybody traveling or thinking about traveling, and what people are talking about on that train. So join us for that. And in the meantime, without further ado, let's have a look and see Richard Latto. How are you doing?
Hi there, Pete. Yeah, I'm doing really well. It's been an interesting week, hasn't it? The heat has been a bit of a killer, but then all of a sudden yesterday, the thunderstorms came down here on the south coast of England, beautiful Southampton. I've been doing loads of Zooms during the week, recording loads of interviews. I was halfway through one, the thunder started. Very delicate interview, everything going fine, peace and quiet, thunderclaps, and then my dog came and sat right here in vision and started howling and crying. And of course, I had to abandon the interview, had to go and try and convince him there was nothing to worry about. But you just can't tell him. Yeah, well, not so little though, is he? Oh dear, no. But you just can't tell him, can you? Yeah, far too many biscuits. But yeah, good week. Yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. Sorry, just getting the camera sorted out. But it's one of those, isn't it, that you kind of think like the weather's never going to stop being hot. And then all of a sudden, boom, it stops. Thunderstorms come down. We're back to, it's not so bad, 22, 23, but the rain has been the killer this last few days, isn't it?
Yeah, and hasn't it been awfully British, that thing of, the heat, sorry. Anyone asking for little favours. It's like when it snows and people go, I just haven't got round to it, what with the snow. And this week, I haven't got round to it, what with all this heat and everything. And then as soon as it changes, as soon as the rain comes back and the thunder comes back, it's raining. The thunder kept me up at night. Stop being so British and stop moaning. Just get a grip.
The thing is that we love to moan about the weather. It's just how we are. And of course, like if we were in Spain, we would accept it was 32, 34. But of course, being in the UK, we don't like it to be that hot.
No, we want it to be a constant 21, don't we? Like the male attitude towards thermostats in any family home. No one else can touch it. It has to remain at 21. We have a little quest here in this house, which my wife thoroughly enjoys every year. I call it the Latto Household Halloween Challenge, where we try and get to Halloween before we turn the central heating on. That is the challenge every year. We usually get to about the 20-something of October before she chickens and puts it on and makes me very angry.
Yeah, I mean, being male, we like to last as long as possible, don't we, before we put that
Yeah, of course. If you're cold, put a jumper on.
And what have you got for us this week? What's made you laugh?
Oh, yeah, there's this really clever guy on Twitter. He's called Pit Magee. I'm surprised I haven't chosen one of his videos before. He's a massive Doctor Who fan like myself, massive sci-fi fan, geek, nerd, I think he says on his Twitter profile. But he's really witty, and he takes moments from Doctor Who and then mixes it up with footage from other well-known TV programmes and creates moments of genius just like this. Let's have a look at the first one.
Why does you bother with all them makeovers? Why don't you just get women who is fit to start with?
I mean, Rosemary Conley's extremely fit, actually.
What, you was telling me you think Rosemary Conley is fit? You was very fat, Judy. Is it because I was black?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, what an amazing kind of, Richard and Judy back in the day when they were doing, I mean, what got into Richard Hagley by doing that Ali G impersonation?
You cannot, as what was he there, middle-aged white man trying to do an impersonation of Ali G on daytime television is not advisable. But hey, we can laugh about it all these years later. Second one is fantastic. This is a moment that many people would have forgotten about, but as soon as you see what he's riffing on here, you will remember it well, and it's ripe for comedy ribbing.
Look now. Thank you very much. Thank you, evening all, and welcome to a brand new generation game, Jim Davidson's generation game.
And what is that exactly? You know, that clip from Doctor Who. It's obviously a Doctor Who. There's a fortune teller. What is that?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Call yourself a fan of popular culture, Pete. Anyone would know that's episode 2 of Snake Dance, the Peter Davidson story from 1984, I think it was, or 3. Can't remember. Everyone knows that. Key moment of popular culture. That's the clip he's used. But he does it to hundreds of episodes. It's really, really funny. Yeah, it's really clever. Geeky, but clever.
I mean, and you know, while we're talking about Doctor who is your favourite Doctor Who?
Oh, that's a horrible question to ask anyone. I always say Troughton. I thought Patrick Troughton was the best actor. I think he was definitely, I think he nailed it. I think the early Doctors had that kind of worldly experience. They'd lived through world wars, you know what I mean? I think that helps with the acting, with the deep characters that they had. So that was my favourite. Who was yours? You're going to say Jodie Whittaker, aren't you? Because you're young.
Well, I mean, my namesake, Peter Davison, of course. I mean, he was, while I was growing up, he was definitely the best. But I expect that not all of our guests have watched Doctor Who. So we should flip to our guests now. Hello, Kirby, and also hello Magpie22. How are you all? Hello. Now, hands up. Has anybody else got a favourite Doctor Who?
Ooh.
It's just you and me, Rich. It's just you.
I've never really watched it.
Baker. Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. Yeah, don't choose Colin, whatever you do. It's got to be Tom, doesn't it?
Yeah. Tom Baker's scarf.
Oh, what about David Tennant?
David Tennant.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. From the more modern version of the programme, Rich, where do you stand on David Tennant?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I interviewed him actually a couple of years ago. Nice guy, lovely guy. Yeah, really talented actor. Obviously, he was at the peak of its kind of popularity, I think, when he was doing it. God, it was about 10 odd years ago, wasn't it? 11 years ago that he left. Okay, so you guys going for Tom Baker, David Tennant. Kirby, you say you don't have one, never really watched it, so you're off the Zoom. You're not going to continue. That's it. Cutter. Yeah.
You've had your chance, Kirby. Like, you're not a Doctor Who fan. But seriously, do you watch any sci-fi, Kirby? Because you can tell from Richard's T-shirt there, Back to the Future. Any sci-fi at all. Just redeem yourself.
Well, Back to the Future, I like that.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good film.
I wouldn't say I'm like massive on sci-fi though.
Back in the day, that was the first movie I went to with a girl, was Back to the Future 2, which was good because it wasn't the best Back to the Future. So there's plenty of other things to do. All right, so Kirby, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Kirby. I'm 20 and I live in Swadling Cove and I sing.
Very good. And I would class you in the urban genre. Would that be right in saying?
Yeah, I'd say I'm quite urban pop. That's like my genre.
Very good. Are you ready there to give us a first song from you?
Yes,
All
I
right,
am.
that'd be amazing. But before you press play, can you tell us just a little bit about the song, maybe a bit of inspiration, because this is your own song, right?
Yeah, so this song is a song, it was actually the first song I ever wrote. when I was about 17. And it was basically about a boy. And I was basically just saying that I don't like you anymore. And that was what 17-year-old me wanted to write about. But yeah, it was the first song I ever wrote, and I love performing it. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. And tell us the song. Tell us the name of the song.
It's called You Fill the Space.
All right. So we're on tenterhooks here. So, oh, and I've got to, while you're there, you just moved out of the way. You're obviously locked down with your mum and dad. Let's have a little look at that picture behind you.
Yeah, so this picture here is my mum and dad on their wedding day with my mum's horse, Sid.
It's very sweet.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
All right, sweet. Well, take it away.
So this is You Fill the Space. Talking to you never wanna ever come away. I'm looking at you, baby, but you know you gotta stay. I'm trying to find out all the little reasons why, but you're just stuck. Talking to you every single night on the phone. I never wanna let you go, but you gotta go home, yeah. But you never go home. But you take my love, you twist your life, and all you do is lie and fake this, stare into my eyes. You are the monster that found a way to my heart, 'cause you feel the space. Yeah, 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 yeah. You feel the space. Yeah, 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 yeah. But then I always see you walking down the streets of my house. I'm wishing I could turn away, but I don't know how. Times that have changed and I'm over it now, but you're just stuck. And every time I look at you, it makes me wanna go. I better rub this line out. I don't want it anymore right now. You always picking at my flaws. But you take my love, you twist your life, and all you do is lie and fake this, stare into my eyes. You are the monster that found a way to my heart, 'cause you feel the space. Yeah, 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 yeah. You feel it, you feel it. You feel the space. I always let you come and go straight to my head. You hurt me more once and I will not forget. No, I won't forget. I always let you come and go straight to my head. You hurt me more than once and I will not forget. No, I won't forget. But you take my love, you twist, you lie. All you do is lie and fake this, stare into my eyes. You are the monster that found a way to my heart, 'cause you feel the space.
Amazing.
Thank you.
What a great tune. What a shot of adrenaline, a real shot of energy that we all need on a Friday night. Kirby, when you first performed that song, obviously it's so personal to you. Who did you first perform it to and what was their reaction?
Well, it was my mum and dad. Because this was like back when I hadn't written a song before, and it was just kind of like a trial song. And I showed it to my mum and dad, and they were like, "Oh my god, like you can actually write a song." And then obviously showed it to every single person that I knew. And then yeah, I recorded it, and it started me off. So it means a lot to me, that song.
And did it ever get back to the boy that you had in mind at the time when you penned it? Yeah? And what was the reaction?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You can't leave it like that. You got to tell us
Yeah,
more.
well, oh, stop it. So I did a gig once at this festival, and I basically looked around the audience, and he was right there. And I was like, because I explained what the song was about, and then I seen him, and he was like, brilliant. So, but yeah, he knows.
Oh, lovely. That's the ultimate seal of approval, isn't it? And when you're doing that song at a gig and guys come up to you afterwards and said, that was great, you remind me of X, Y, and Z, who is it? They always say.
I always get Jessie J and Anne Marie.
Okay, yeah, that's both very complimentary comparisons, isn't it?
They're the two that people always say.
Are they inspirations of yours as well?
Yeah. Jessie J is my biggest inspiration, really. I've always looked up to her before I even sang. So yeah.
Cool. And have you ever wondered what it would be like if Jessie J got to hear that particular track? What do you think that would be like for you?
Well, I'd love it. I've met her parents, and I was actually on a TV show called The Voice a couple of years ago, and they told me that they'd seen me on that, and I was like, well, that's it. I'm done. If Jessie J's mum and dad have seen me, that's it. I'm fine. I've made it.
Brilliant. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, Pete. That has got to be the best shot of adrenaline that we've had in these live sessions.
I know, just absolutely amazing, like, and such energy as well, Kirby. I mean, usually we're getting a bit lazy this time of the night on a Friday, aren't we, Rich?
See, this is when I wake up now.
I tell you one thing, I'll take you behind the curtain here a little bit, actually. Pete usually, during the first performance, pours himself a beer of something of the alcoholic variety. Tonight, he was pouring himself a cup of tea out of a thermos flask. Now, that either means that the weather has got so incredibly cold, or he has aged 20 years last week.
Not only that, Rich, I have to say it's mint tea as well. It's herbal tea.
Oh, it's middle-class tea. Wow.
It's a great tune. It's a really great tune.
Hey,
I just wanted to say, it's an absolutely great tune, and it. Actually, you didn't remind me a lot of either of those people. Who you reminded me of was Rita Ora, when she had that slightly more edgy. She got poppier later. And I love the little kind of reggae offbeat in it. It's great. It's really good.
Thank you.
Very good. And while you're chatting there, Dawn, you should introduce who's there with you.
Yes, well, here we are in my murky living room. So over here I've got Neil Bailey. Neil and I met about 2 years ago, started writing and performing together, have been to Nashville to play. I don't know, maybe 6 months or more ago, Amy joined us and started doing harmony vocals. She's in her own group, Peaches. Yeah. But so we are a bit like Magpies, because we collect other musicians for different songs and different performances. But I suppose the hub is Neil and I, really. Yeah, we get a lot of fun playing together and writing.
And look, there's a slight elephant in the room here, isn't there? Have you ever watched You Been Framed since Harry Hill has been doing it? He'll usually say a clip of something, someone falling over the room, but he'll say something witty like, "Oh, look at those curtains." We've got to talk about the backdrop that you've especially curated for tonight's performance. What was your inspiration, and how does that support the music that we're going to hear tonight?
Well, that's Rennie McIntosh, who is a fantastic Art Deco artist and did loads of art in Scotland. I'm absolutely nuts about 20s art and clothing. We're doing a video soon for a forthcoming single, Crossroads, which we'll play later. And, we will be using some 20s influenced props and things in that. But that's where the curtains came from. They haven't made it into a song yet, but here they are.
They're very nice. Pete, should we hear more about the interior design here? And maybe a little talk like the gallery they used to do on Vision On and go through every picture on the wall?
Yeah.
Or should we hear about the first track that we're going to hear tonight?
I'm actually just flicking between my camera and their camera, and I'm looking at my walls and thinking how grey they look. And I'm looking at these walls and thinking, wow, I'm missing a trick here. These colours are fantastic.
My whole house is like that. The whole stairwell is like a gallery, and it's because if I see a piece of art that I really love at some little local thing or wherever, and I can afford it, or sometimes even if I can't, I just think, I don't want to look back and think I could have had that. So they're all here, you know?
You're like a junk artist collector.
Yes, and I do.
The one just above your head there, it looks like it's a castle. I'm not really sure. I can see that's the one I can see the most.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know really. I've got a couple by a local artist from Weston-super-Mare, but I'm not sure what's up there. I think I bought it in a junk shop, actually. Yeah.
And the other one, is that a bunny rabbit? Or...
Now that's very special. I will tell you something about that. My daughter went to school with a really beautiful boy called Jack, and Jack sadly died in a climbing accident in his 20s. And his mum, to help with her grief, her name's Sarah, I should say, took up art. And I commissioned her to do me a hair, because I love hairs. And you won't see from there, but it's got a little hawk up near the moon. And it just reminds me of Jack, you know, keeps him here.
Very sweet. I love it. It's very nice to have a picture with a story. Talking about stories, can you tell us about your first song and a bit of inspiration behind it as well?
Okay, so Cowboys and Indians, both Neil and I have always been interested in Native American culture. When I was a kid, genuinely, I thought I was some kind of in the wrong body, like a little reincarnated Native American. And I read everything and I watched everything. And then I learned as I got older about the way they were abused and the Trail of Tears when they were forced marched from their home. And this song kind of takes a modern take on that idea. Really, it's about our relationship with the planet and the people who are on it. And we should be trying harder to save it, really. With a reference to the Trail of Tears and the Americans that died, the original Americans that died on that trail. Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. There's a lot to be said for the Native American culture. I was actually in South Dakota last year, about this time last year. And, the native culture is incredible, and I'm surprised there's not more about it. You know, they should make the most of this culture, because it really is what we should be doing. You know, living by the land and living sustainably. It's a fantastic culture, and
it's their country, man.
Yeah. Well, Neil and I have our goal last year was to play in Nashville, and my personal goal was to play at the Bluebird Cafe, which we did twice. And my next goal is actually probably to go and work with Navajo or other Native American musicians who would like to try and do a collaborative project with us.
Fantastic. All right. Well, with a build-up like that, let's hear this song.
Oh, God. Okay. I just need to say, on YouTube, Dawn Kelly and Neil Bailey's Magpie22, there is a video that was our first single and our first video. So if you want to have a look, it's on there.
Cool.
And it's Cowboys and Indians. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. All summer long we'd run and play out in the woods. I'd pick wild strawberries, you'd find sticks for guns. But you were always gonna be the little cowboy in our stories. Set 'em up and shoot 'em down, and you take all the glory. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey yards of Indians while you hid with your gun. But you cheat and tease, throw stones at me, knowing I'd give in. 'Cause Indians always lose their ground, cowboys always win. And I wish that we were kids again, playing cowboys and Indians. We are a different kind of cowboy now, building your steel towers. And I fight to save this earth you build upon. Oh, I'm still playing Indian, playing Indian, playing Indian. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Too young to know that when we played our childish games, that all been played before for real, when the trail of tears was made. Now I'm dancing with the ghosts of those who danced like ghosts before. And I wish that we could, wish that we would, wish that we were all playing Indian, playing Indian, playing Indian. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. 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 One day you asked if you could tie me to a tree. I said I really didn't mind, 'cause I knew you were tied to me. But then you left me there all day, oh, laughing while I cried. And I learned how easy promises could be turned into lies. And I wish that we were kids again, playing cowboys and Indians. Oh, you're a different kind of cowboy now, building your steel towers. And I fight to save this earth you build upon. Oh, I'm still playing Indian, playing Indian, playing Indian. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. 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 Playing Indian, playing Indian, playing Indian, still playing Indian.
Lovely. What a charming, charming song. Magpie22. What's it like when you're trying to perfect that? You're trying to finalize a composition like that together. Do you argue? Do you debate over when it's finally finished and there's still one of you is convinced there's still some more polishing to be done, or is it quite a smooth process?
Initially, it's smooth, and then it develops. I've got scars on the back of my head.
I don't doubt you.
No, it grows. It's like a cake, you know. You put the right ingredients in there, man, and it grows.
That song actually
changes a little
wasn't
bit.
it? It was the first song that we completely co-wrote together, and Neil was down in Devon at the time, and I went for a visit, and we literally sat outside by a stream, and it was as if it was like a gift.
Yeah.
You know, the tune, Neil was noodling, and then some of the lyrical ideas came to me, and before I knew it, we had that song.
There's something to be said for the right time, right place, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's not changed a lot, really. You know,
And
the single is out and it's got a lot of percussion on it and more harmonies maybe and better, you know, more guitars, but it's the same song.
And what kind of comparisons do you guys get then when you played that at a gig?
I think we've been I often get Joni Mitchell just because of my voice and maybe a bit my appearance.
And Stevie
Nicks. Stevie Nicks even more so. I do think that when we come together as a band, we love harmony. So you end up getting that kind of West Coast vibe, you know. But we really range from very folky right to quite rocky. I mean, our most recent single, Leaving Arizona, is electric and full drums, but it's still got that Americana vibe.
That soul about it.
Yeah, it has.
Soul.
There has been quite a bit of chatter on Facebook, by the way. George says, "Dawn, are those deer antlers behind your lamp?" And then there's a whole riff of different people saying. Eve Sapphire has said, "It's a branch from a strawberry tree that blew down in a storm years ago in London." And George says, "That's so cool. Can you tell me why Dawn took it and put it in her lounge?" So that's take this strawberry tree and put it into your lounge.
I'll probably be showing my age here, you know, by admitting that there was that big storm in the late 80s. Was it 89 or something? And I had a favourite tree in Battersea Park. You know, I lived in London. I was in bands in London. And then I went along and this branch of my favourite tree was just lying there. So I kind of wrestled it home. And as the years have gone by, bits of it have dropped off. Eve Sapphire, by the way, is my daughter. And she's singing on all the harmonies on the forthcoming single, Crossroads. But Amy will be doing that song tonight. She's an amazing singer. Yeah. So that's where the tree came from.
I love the story. And that's probably the same storm as when Seven Oaks, I think 5 of the 7 Oaks actually fell down, didn't they? During
it's true. Yeah. Can I confess that I told you I like art. I had muraled my bedroom into like a planet, and several of us were up there post rehearsal, hanging out in the bedroom, and then it got very windy. And people said, "God, that sounds terrible." And I was going, no, it's these flats, you know, it always whistles through here. And then we got up the next morning and there was this devastation, like every tree in the road was down. And I thought it was just a bit windy. You know?
So it was you and Michael Fish that got it wrong. 1987. It's both of you.
Yeah.
Right. See, it's always Michael Fish that gets it in the neck. You never hear it for you guys.
And, you know, I just think that with your mix of different kind of artists and, you know, the background of your music, it's really, really fantastic. You mentioned earlier that you were on a talent show. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I was 17, I went on The Voice and I got to the quarterfinals and I was on Team Ollie Murs and it was kind of a mad thing. Didn't ever think I'd go on a TV show, but the opportunity came about, took it, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. It was an amazing experience, got to meet amazing musicians and made friends like for life. And it really helped me see that this is what I really wanted to do. And I think from going on the show, it's pushed me to be myself and find out who I am through the past 3 years.
And The Voice is certainly the classier one to do, isn't it? I mean,
it's only classy.
Exactly. What was it like being there? You know, on The Voice with all those amazing artists there as well.
It was amazing. It was one of them things that you never think as a 17-year-old you're going to be able to have, like, to say that you've done something like that. And I loved every minute of it. And everyone was so friendly and helped each other. And yeah, it was just a great experience. It's really helped me get to where I am.
Oh, Pete, I've got to tell you, we've just been joined by another guest. Isabel has dialed in. Hi, Isabel.
Hi.
You're going to tell us, breaking news, What has it been like trying to get back to the UK tonight? Have you made it, or are you Skyping us from a hotel room somewhere in France?
No, that's it. I'm home. Yay.
Well done. That's amazing. Great to see you there. And you've literally just stepped off the Eurostar. Is that right?
Yeah, a few hours ago. Yeah.
And what was the story? Why have you just come off the Eurostar? Did you have to frantically get a booking to try and get back before the 4 a.m.?
No, actually, I was quite lucky. I just got on the train that I'd originally booked, but there were quite a lot of people there trying to get back to the UK, trying to change their tickets, and they couldn't. So I was really lucky.
Did anyone try and bribe you to try and get your ticket, try and take your place, try and purchase your passport?
No, they would have had to pay quite a lot of money, I think, for that.
And tell me, what was it like on board the train? Like, what were people talking about? Like, what was the vibe like?
Well, it was quite interesting, actually, because there was an elderly couple just in front of me, a French couple, who seemed to think that it was all absolutely ridiculous, really, to change the rules at such a short notice. Couldn't really see the point. And then there was a family, an English family, coming back from their holidays who had to change their plans, really, and they were really not happy about it. They were going to fly home, try to change their flight home, and just couldn't do it. So they decided to try their luck on the Eurostar and found some tickets last night, they were saying. So yeah.
And there's this all-round conspiracy theory, isn't there, that the government did this to try and move the news agenda across to something else. I know that you're involved in education. What do you think about that kind of conspiracy that's going on at the moment?
Well, I'm not too sure it's a conspiracy theory, really. I think it's just it just makes sense because of what happened with the A-level results and the fiasco, really, the shambles that we're in. They do need other stuff to be on the news, and that's something that's going to sell, really. So yeah, they need something to get the heat off the A-level and GCSE results next week. So God knows what that's going to be like. So yeah, I don't think that's a conspiracy theory, really. I think it's just a very good comms operation on their part.
So shall we place some bets? Which country are they going to introduce the rule for when the GCSE results come out? Which countries are still left on the map? You know, what are we going to say? Isle of Wight. I'm going to put £100 on the Isle of Wight. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. No, I don't know, really, but it's ridiculous. I think you know what you're going to do, so just plan it before, and do communicate it to people, because there's a lot of people that are on holiday in France who genuinely actually modify their plans to go to France rather than Spain or somewhere else because of the requirements, really, the COVID stuff, and they're stuck now. So, is it really fair? I don't think it is. Are they going to be paid when they come back and they have to quarantine for 2 weeks? Are they going to do it? Are you going to check it? Are you not? Not too sure. I know that I was told on Twitter that really I should be I shouldn't complain about the whole thing, because really, if you lived in England, then you should have stayed in England. But I went back to France, for instance, because my mum had a stroke and I couldn't see her and she was in ICU. So, everyone's got their own sort of commitments or their own reasons. So yeah, I just think the government really needs to have a better strategy when they come to communicate their plans, if they have plans.
And just out of interest as well, you've spent a month in France. You've been in Brittany. You've been in Paris. Tell us what it's like over there at the moment.
Well, it was interesting because I almost got the town I'm originally from, where my mum was in the hospital. That's sort of west, really west. You can't go further west than where they are in Brittany, and they had no death by COVID. It was absolutely fine. no problems whatsoever. And then people started coming because it was holiday time. And they had some cases, no death, but some cases reported in the area. The area that's as big as Essex, I guess, so not that big. But they got really scared and said on the Thursday, I was leaving on the Friday, and on the Thursday there were talks of actually putting a local lockdown from where we were. So people just were, absolutely frantic about it and going, oh my God, I don't want this to happen. But it was family gatherings, some tourists coming to the area. So that was quite interesting because people were wearing masks on the street, in the shops. The government's, sort of told everyone to do that, and people were following, the guidelines. In Paris, I was pleasantly surprised because people were wearing masks, and a lot of people were using the bikes, the equivalent of the Santander bikes here, bikes or electric scooters that they were renting, and it seemed to be okay, I guess. What they're trying to sell us, the fact that there's more cases in France now. Yes, it's true, but it's partly due to clusters in companies. A lot of companies have had cases now declared, and also the fact that the young people seem to go out more and more and behave in a way that is sort of, the virus has gone, let's have fun, when we know it hasn't.
And just out of interest as well, on the actual train, was it 2 meters apart or 1 meter apart, or was everybody just in normal seating?
No, they do social distancing. Yeah. So that was fine. What they hadn't realised, I suppose, the family that came, the ones that had booked the flight and then had to sort of try and come back, they were saying that they couldn't book. When they booked the tickets, they had 4 kids with them and 3 adults, and they couldn't book to be together as one household, which was a bit ridiculous, really. So they just sat together and no one said anything. But apart from that, you do have to have one seat. You do have to sit 1 seat apart. So that was quite well done.
Rich, any final questions there for Isabel? It's been really revealing, hasn't it?
What are you going to do as soon as the day breaks tomorrow and you're back in England and you're looking at the news and it's going to be awash with people complaining about the situations they're in, but you're obviously free to do what you want? What are you going to do?
Well, celebrate my nephew's little girl's first birthday.
Oh, perfect.
So that should be nice. Yeah. And well, I've got people, I've got friends who are trying to come back from France, and they've had their Eurostar cancelled actually for next week. No explanation. They don't know why. And also there's a form you might be aware of that the government wants us to fill in, a COVID form. But that's really not clear. So a lot of people at the station in France were like, what's that about? It says that if you're not 18, you don't fill it in, but then you want my kids to have it filled in. So it's a bit ridiculous, really. But yeah.
Great. Well, any other final questions for Isabel from our other guests as well, Kirby, and also Dawn there with Neil and Amy?
No, glad she's back in.
Glad you're back, Isabel.
Yeah, no, so am I.
Thanks so much for joining us. You've been a really, really revealing guest here, and we'll get you back for your education.
Yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you about the results and about what the government should be doing.
Cheers, Isabel. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Very good. Isabel Aircon there, just straight off the Eurostar. Very revealing, don't you think, Rich?
Yeah, very revealing. I think there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, I'm amazed at the number of people that it's affected that I know. I've seen so many posts on Facebook and Twitter from friends who are abroad and have been frantically messaging me saying, I'm supposed to be back for a job. Any chance you can help me do this? Any chance you could do this? Any chance you do that? It's mad, really, how it's kind of spidered. Just one decision affected so many people.
Yeah, it's been the biggest decision, I think, that has really done this. And, you know, the Spain decision was something, but the France decision was something else, really, because everybody anticipated that was a safe place to be.
We need to cheer ourselves up with some music, don't we? Kind of brought the mood a little down, I think.
I'll stick to beer next week.
Magpie22, what is your second song for us tonight? Sell it to us.
Hi. Well, there is a really famous blues legend about the guitarist Robert Johnson, who was a young black guitarist living in Mississippi, and he wasn't supposed to be that great, and then he disappeared, and he came back and he was fantastic, and the rumour went round that he had sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads. So I just love this idea of this story of what would you do, you know, to get where you want to go in music. So this song's loosely about that. And I don't know why, but Bessie Smith, the fabulous black blues singer, popped into my head. She just invited herself into the song. So she's in there as well. Okay. And that's
Lovely.
it. Our next single, Crossroads.
Great stuff, guys. Take it away.
I met a man up on the highway, friend or foe I could not tell. He told me he was going my way, and then I heard a mission bell. He said, come meet me at the crossroads, maybe the devil's on my tail. I said, son, you're no Robert Johnson. He said, sweet Bessie, won't you sing for me again? Yeah. And come meet me at the crossroads. Ooh, ooh. He said, I'll walk a road less traveled, play my guitar and sing the blues. Said if I learn one thing while walking on these roads, your shadow always follows you. He said, come meet me at the crossroads. I think the devil's on my tail. I said, son, you're no Robert Johnson. He said, sweet Bessie, won't you sing to me again? And come meet me at the crossroads. Ooh, ooh. Now gather round, you unbelievers, listen well and heed my tale. He said, sweet Bessie, won't you sing the blues again? Said, I'm not Bessie, I'm the devil on your tail. Oh yes, I'll meet you at the crossroads, I'm the devil on your trail. You wanna play like Robert Johnson, forget that mission fell and follow me to hell. Oh yes, I'll meet you at the crossroads, 'cause I'm the devil on your trail. You wanna play like Robert Johnson, give me your soul and follow me to hell. Yeah. To hell. And come meet me at the crossroads. Ooh,
Very nice. Great. There's something very much of the night about that song, isn't there? It's very engaging, but also foreboding, I think. How do you want people to feel when they hear a track like that? Because they're going to ask questions, aren't they? There's something really captivating about it.
Well, I'd like to think that, stories, there's a real tradition of stories in song about the devil, isn't there? So I like the twist in it that, you're hearing this woman singing, oh, I met someone at the crossroads, you're thinking, oh, is he going to hurt her? And then by the end of it, actually, she's the problem, she's going to hurt him. So, and also that tribute to that kind of music, because it influenced everything. There wouldn't be a Rolling Stones if you hadn't had Robert Johnson, So I hope that it might make them go and look at some of these old artists and think, wow, they're amazing.
Yeah, that's what they say about the best books on music, isn't it? When you've read a book about a particular group or an artist that makes you want to go back and rediscover their whole back catalogue, then that's been a successful book. And I think a track like that, if you capture people and make them want to immerse themselves in that genre, you've done your job, haven't you?
Yeah, we've actually left it alone. We went to London to record with a producer friend of mine, Pete Ardren, myself, Neil, Amy wasn't there, but Eve Sapphire, my daughter, came. And we did just literally guitar, 2 vocals, and thought, oh, we'll add things later. But as time has gone on, lockdown got in the way. But we've now decided that we're just going to leave it alone because it's in that old blues tradition, just guitar and voices. It is what it is. So
it's the rawness that makes it.
It's the video that I'm having fun with.
It's the gaps in between the music.
Yeah.
It's.
So
it does it gives that beat.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun, and I've just finished a video. Like lockdown, I'm sure Kirby would think of this. Beautiful, your rendition of that song, by the way. I absolutely loved it. Fantastic. But I think that lockdown has affected.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I think a lot of people have been affected by lockdown, and I started lockdown by doing this big jokey take on, that Steelers Wheel song Stuck in the Middle with You. And I got my husband to put a bag on his head and had such fun making it. And then it went on and on and on. And I got more and more and more down. And being a musician, and I do bits of art as well, I ended up writing a really dirgy, awful, powerful, probably, song about feeling like, you're alone and no one can hear you and no one is going to come and help you. So I literally loaded that up on YouTube today. Hear me. But it's miserable. Don't watch it if you don't.
By the way, Dawn, I absolutely loved it when yourself and Amy actually came up to the screen. I was quite getting worried. Like I thought you were actually going to come out at me.
It wasn't planned. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't planned. I know you broke some kind of social boundary as well going on there. but it was very good. Just for the record, can you tell us anybody that's watching? Can you tell us all where we can find out more about the Magpie22 music?
Okay, so Dawn Kelly and Neil Bailey's Magpie22. You could just Google it. You'll find us under that name on Facebook and on YouTube. So we've got quite a few videos on there live and a few that we've made for these songs. Cowboys and Indians is on everything, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. It's out as a single, as is Arizona, which we couldn't do leaving Arizona tonight. And Crossroads will be coming. So if anybody, they've heard the first live airing of Crossroads.
Very good. And Kirby, could you do us the same favour as well? Tell us where we can find out more about you.
Yeah, so on everything, so Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, my name is Kirby Official UK, Kirby Official UK, and then on YouTube it's Kirby Frost, and Spotify it's Kirby. And I actually, when you were talking about like feeling low during lockdown and all that kind of stuff, I actually wrote a song as well, and that's going to be out in about a month's time now, and it's called Runaway. So if you wanted to like pre-save, you can, because that's going to be out soon.
Fantastic. Rich, what a great week, eh?
It has been amazing. I've really enjoyed tonight. Superb music from both of you. Absolutely brilliant. And so lovely to have a mix of styles, of moods, of tempos, stuff to make you think, stuff to just get with it and enjoy. It's been brilliant. Yeah, it's been a great week.
Love it. Well, join us again next week, CNLZ. Join us on Facebook or on YouTube, whichever one you want. But it's been fantastic and great vibes. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much to Magpie22 and also to Kirby, and also not forgetting Isabel Erkan. Thanks so much for getting off the Eurostar and chatting to us about your experiences. And all the best. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.